Well, hey everybody. It kind of scared you. Oh man, how are we doing? What up, Trek? Oh, which one was it? That one? Yeah, there we go. Alright. I was trying to make this a little bit easier to actually follow along with than to have the actual frame and everything over on this area. So yeah, I hope that it's going to be a lot easier for you all to follow along and all that good business. Well, the cake, oh god, no cake in this stream. But you guys can help me figure out what I'm gonna wind up eating for dinner tonight. Oh my god, you're so tired. Well, you know, today I think, as pregnancy, today I think we have the core 3 kind of set-ish. The thing I'm trying to do today is do some fine-tooth comb going through of like what I think of the action economy, the cost of stuff in here, and doing a little bit of comparative balance to see like what can this thing do that's really wild compared to something else, right? This should probably get reduced. I mean, you all have seen that if you all been keeping up with the streams. I've been trying to figure out a few things for this thing, thinking about like where it needs to sit on the battlefield, what all it should be doing, like what its action economy needs to demand, what it means to be a leader in combat, and you know, whatever. The thing that I wanted to do to differentiate this from a tactician or a warlord was give the idea that you are not necessarily always a military mastermind. If you wanted to roll up like a fairy princess, this should be the class that allows you to do that, right? And get some features that are going to feel like, boom, this is going to fit. And I think that this was also addressing an issue that I had with the way that tactician as an archetype is kind of negotiated in 5e. Really in all of D&D. The big, you want taco night? Thanks so much for the 49 pesos, Drake and Yoda. Yeah, it's taco night. We might do tacos. Let me up that size. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen the prince. It was Elijah, who is one of my Patreon sponsors, who offered to help out with the Sovereign, and you know, it to me, like when I'm making a base class like this, and you know, I think there was I experienced this with the Runekeeper, where I got to a point. I mean, in some capacity, it's like with any collaborative project, right? You kind of get to a point where, like, you realize, like, man, you have a vision for something, and you want to make it like, I've got this idea for a thing, I want to see it through, and then suddenly there's 20 cooks in your kitchen that are throwing in things that they think need to be on your dish. And, you know, that's kind of the nature of the beast, right? Right now, like, if I'm going to live stream this kind of stuff, this kind of content, and this design, there's going to be a lot of people that have, they're voicing their ideas as to what it should be, right? But I think ultimately the way that I work best is to get my ideas out there on paper and then go back through later and hear out, like, you know, some feedback on it, and maybe take, like, something that's hadn't really originally been voiced into consideration, you know, yada yada yada. So I'm kind of shying away from doing really more collaborative class design anymore. because I think I just kind of work better on my own, and then having others give that feedback later on that leads to potentially some changes getting made. There's some really great ideas that have gotten voiced in the community, and I'm not talking specifically into this, but I've gotten ideas thrown out on other home brews that I've made that have been really, really awesome, but they're just not quite right for the thing that I have envisioned. Some people have great ideas, maybe even better, but you just want to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like if I were to, I even thought it would be funny, right? Like, I like to just put up a document and just be like, all right, chat, you guys make a class, like, you guys go, and just letting people like, edit the document or whatever. It would wind up being absolute chaos. It would just be really funny to see what class wound up getting made out of that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. And that was it wasn't anything to do with like these live streams on the Sovereign or anything like that. More so just like I've come to realize as I've been doing this more often, um, I don't have a problem with collaboration. It's more so that like if I've got an idea and like I know what I have in mind, right? I've seen people suggest, for the Sovereign, it needs, it has to have a companion, it has to have, XYZ thing. Some people suggesting it needed to be a commander or a warlord, and I was like, it's not quite right for me. Yeah, the warlock patron of Discord, right? You love to see me finish that, by the way. I joined a new group in the community. GM is so awesome. Oh, awesome. Glad to hear you found a table that's like really working for you. The Blade Singer vampire gal that has some Sovereign in her. Yeah, I've been right now, and we'll talk about that here in a second. My current hiccup, or I guess the debate I've been kicking around in my head, is why has 5e been pretty bad at conveying something's a warlord or something is a tactician? Why does it feel weird to say, like, I'm going to give an order and then my allies can do this, this, or this, right? Well, because that never really feels quite right at the table whenever you're like, I'm going to give this order. You should do the thing. And that means your buddy might not do the thing, and in which case you've just kind of blown this action that you got that's your core deal, right? And you're removing agency by virtue of saying you need to be doing this thing. And I don't think that that's ever been really, really well negotiated, right? Playing in Midgard, by the way, have I tried it? It looks really fun so far. The mechanics are kind of weak-ish, not as fun as the new stuff D&D gets, but yeah, still cool. Is that the Cobalt Press Midgard? I like the ideas of what they have in there, but it feels very like throw everything in the dish and see what tastes good, kind of, like the Midgard setting is like it's really robust, but it just feels like wow, it is a hodgepodge of every concept of fantasy magic ever thrown into a setting. And I think it kind of suffers from that whenever kitchen sink fantasy, right? It kind of suffers from that, like, whenever everything is special, like, nothing special kind of a thing. The subclasses are very on the weak side. You think it's just kind of old. Yeah, and the Midgard Heroes Handbook, whenever I first got it, was like, Cobalt Press sent me review copies. God, what was this, 2017, 2018? I was a tiny creator, and I was super thankful for them sending all that stuff, but, like, man, that was the crazy thing. I'd seen if they were interested in, the channel and whatnot. I was interested in Tome of Beasts and to see what they had in there. So I hit them up, and then, like, 3 weeks later, I suddenly get a crate that has 5 books in it, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Thank you guys so much. But, oh my God, I feel almost like if I didn't review everything, I'd be like, oh my God, But yeah, like, really great positive company in sending. Sending even small channels, giving them attention, right? Like, yeah. We are. This is the Skylar. We are going to get in on the Sovereign. But yeah, you're here interested in this as well. You've worked on a rural inspired leader class as well. Oh, interesting. Well, yeah, you're welcome to hang out and talk. Um, I I just the main core thing of this is I want this to feel like you are getting a bit of that flavor of a tactician in a way, but not like you are a military leader, you know. I don't want to lean so hard into the idea of like you are a warlord, so therein, you know, whatever. Um, I want this to feel like we could still roll up certain fantasy princesses or just kind of whatever it means for you to be a leader, you know. How much will you be able to scream at the top of your lungs to other players while playing this class? As much as they'll allow you before punching you in the face for doing so. Sorry for derailing, by the way. Nah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yours is more fantasy powered than mine. Mine seems a bit more charismatic and accurate, related to the support martial frontliner style. And I don't really want to lean into this idea of it should be a support frontliner. I like this. The more and more that I see this combined with this, I'm starting to think that we have a midline potential that could go into the backline if they wanted to, right? The idea being that your allies should want to protect you because you are a sovereign, and let's enhance that, right? Why would your allies want to protect you? I think that they could get a lot of really cool benefit out of you doing, you know, not just they should protect you, but also by you doing cool stuff, they also get cool stuff, right? Like that feels more leadership to me. We can have military stuff in the subs. Yeah, exactly. You like how I did authority after the revamps? So let's talk about authority. This feature, oh, and the design document is over in my Discord server. You can still go and grab that. Let me see here. Yeah, I think the one that you linked is the one by Elijah, Drunken Yoda. And I don't want to. Let me rephrase. Let me state this again. I don't want to look at any other homebrew out there. Like, while I'm designing a concept that could potentially lean into a theme of another one, I don't want to look at any homebrew that other people have done. I want my ideas to be out here, and you know, this was originally inspired by seeing what I saw what Laser Llama did with their commander, where as a fighter you can forego some of your attacks to issue out other orders, and I was like, ooh, okay, that works really well in the fighter chassis because they get so many extra attacks. I thought that was really cool, but could you do that to where it was like infinite, you know? I don't know that I really want to increase this hit die to a D8. I think that for the amount of martial prowess that we're giving you, this should feel like the martial full blaster in a way. Like that full-on, full caster kind of power, right? But it is a martial support. Yeah, no D8s in my chat. You gotta stab the guard. See, you're gonna work nicely into your job. See, yeah. I'm keeping it at the D6 with some of the subclasses. Power budget getting eaten up by their hit die is gonna increase. Well, I say their hit die specifically. Their hit point maximum increases by 1 is mathematically the exact same thing as if we had increased their hit die to a D8. If we increase it by 2, it goes up to a D10, you know. And I've thought about whether or not it was actually slightly mathematically better to get this rather than increasing your hit die, because whenever you roll for hit points, this is a flat thing that you're always going to get. And if you're rolling for hit points, I think that this is a bit more reliable than leaving it up to chance, you know? This is basically like you get your con mod plus this one every time you level up, right? And that's, ooh, pretty nice. I guess the average is going up as well, so it should be the same, but you know. Yeah, I don't want to punish you or the person that like any of your allies that don't follow the order. I don't want to punish them for not following the order, right? This is bonus action, and then what do we really have the power to give you as a bonus action as a martialist, right? I think by this being a D6 class, I think we're kind of okay with all this being infinite. Like maybe. I'm gonna have to check that out a little bit more. I think that Bard, like the comparison is always gonna be like, is this more nuts than what Bard can do with Bardic Inspiration? In a way, yes, because this is gonna be infinite, right? But Bardic Inspiration is gonna be out to 60 feet. I decided to reel this into 30 feet because this is gonna push you more towards the front rather than always hanging back there with the wizard. You know, like you're going to be somewhat of a midliner with this, and I feel pretty secure with that. With like, we don't need to give you a disengagement tool. I mean, you get one here with like, you know, retreat or fortify. We could probably say your allies are made with disadvantage right there. That'd be fair. There's a decent disengagement tool right there, especially because that's going to be as a bonus action. Yeah, that's really super good. I mean, Fortify is on there as well. And it'll be worth it for me to kind of talk about Authority, because that's going to be the thing I really want to chew on with this one. For some reason, all I make has tons of... Maybe limiting other players wasn't as good as the ideas we thought before. Yeah, so this is kind of... Yeah, I want it to be... Libby, oh yeah, thanks. I want this to be something that you can do, and it will benefit somebody if they decide to follow your order, right? But not punish them in terms of like they lost out and you lost out because that didn't happen, right? Do you need, by the way, to add you and your allies? Isn't you? No. So that is something I tried to oh wait, did I delete that text? I guess I did. Emboldening you and your allies within okay, so I guess this is still needed here. It's fine, it clarifies it. It might be a little bit redundant, but you know. But we're gonna continue to keep stating like your allies, right? Your allies, all that stuff. So it's fine. I kind of worried about charge bonus action being able to move an additional 10 feet, but I mean, I think that subclasses as defined. No, we haven't gotten that far yet. We're still figuring out the core. We really, yeah, it's fine for an additional 10 feet. We still got to figure out the core. So we're not moving on to subclasses until we get a cool core. And then we can move on and start really messing with the subclasses, right? Like I threw some ideas out there, but nothing really complete at all. These were just me throwing out like, all right, this is an idea I've got right now. I just want to jot down the note. Yeah. Paladin gets something similar with an aura. And this is going to be an effect that's on, but it's only like while they're moving towards a hostile creature, right? I guess I should look at some of the Battle Master maneuvers. that's been another thing I've been trying to avoid in the same way, because like I feel like the more and more I pull from this, the more it's gonna feel like a tactician, right? Like a warlord. There's some very strong stuff in here. This is a very strong bonus action to cause one of these effects. Yeah, this is super good. Brace. Whenever you issue this order, yeah, see, like, Commander Strike, this to me, like, this is good if used all the time, right? Like, well, how do I, nah, not all the time. What do I mean by that? What I mean is Commander Strike, if used optimally, man, that's the problem. I go over to D&D Beyond and then crap, this new layout doesn't really work. Um, Commander Strike, with you using this attack action on your turn to forego. Wait, can I do this? Can I get rid of that element? Is that a thing I can do with like ad block? Can I block this whole bar? Ooh. It kind of works. Commander Strike. You have a question related to the topic at hand. You just ran a D&D game, a one-shot, and you need some advice? Yeah, ask away. Yeah, bait and switch. But this all feels like too much control, like overreaching control, as in like you're removing a bit of the agency from other players, right? They can use their reaction. Well, what if they don't want to use that reaction? Well, then you just wasted a thing, and then they are, it feels like it's a cause for some frustration at the table. So, I want to avoid that. And they do blow a resource. And that always felt really weird. Like, yeah, I get this martial superiority die, and it's a thing I can only use a number of times because... Why? I mean, I get balancing and everything, but like, why can I only use this maneuver a certain number of times? I never understood the narrative for that. Like, maybe if the effects were... You can choose to expend the superiority die, because you're already foregoing one of your attacks and using a bonus action. Like, I just don't think this is actually good. Maybe to be willing is kind of strange. So that's why I thought it would be cooler to... Is that the consensus? Like, I feel like I always hear whenever people want to roll up a warlord, they're like, can you make it Commander Strike the class? And I'm like, looking at it now, is it really? You want this to be the core thing that you get? It's kind of good if you have a rogue. Yeah, sure. I mean, sure. And I think you can do that now. Boom. So, with a sail, what I wanted this to be is like... What I wanted a sail to be is basically health action, 30 feet, bonus action, and make it to where you're not helping a specific ally, it's a general, right? You're helping the party. Attack that thing, bam, bonus action. The next attack made by an ally against the target has advantage. Now they're going to be thinking, like, who do we really want to hit this guy? Like, I like this idea. Designated villain said, my PCs love this NPC. You made to help them through a forest. The original plan was to have the NPC reveal that they are actually a duplicate made by stealing the NPC's face. But your PCs love this NPC. You don't want to break their hearts. Break their hearts. Absolutely break their hearts. I'm like, it depends on the level in which you want to It depends on the level in which you want that NPC to have weight in the story, right? Like, is it one that you have a whole lot planned for and you want to keep around for a while? Okay, then, like, keep it around for a while, right? You're not a bad DM for breaking their hearts. Is George R. R. Martin a bad writer because he keeps killing our favorite characters? No. I know a lot of people that actually took a lot... I don't want to give spoilers, but there's a certain quest line in Elden Ring that, like, boy, I saw some people get pissed about. And I'm like, dude, number one, this is a From Software game. What are you all thinking getting attached to people? Like, and then, like, number two, not only is it a FromSoft game, is George R. R. Martin involved? You really thought you should love someone? Is there a debuff side? We haven't gotten into the subclasses yet. It's going to be okay. He won't be changing with changing faces? Wait, what? Like, his character's going to be okay with heat. The NPC is already dead? I mean, is that not a thing that you can just erase? You're the DM. You have complete control of your story. That NPC might already be dead in your mind, but, like, is it already dead as far as the story continuity is at your table? Like, what have you conveyed to them, you know? Y'all really thought you should love someone? I mean, in, you know, your fantasy, right? Like, if you're playing a FromSoft game or you're reading anything by George R. R. Martin, boy, that's why, like, man, that fight in Winterfell, whenever the Night King grabbed Arya, I was 100% ready to just be like, yep, that's what he's gonna do, huh? Like, I just knew in my mind. I was watching it just with a like, huh, and I think that was what made that a really good payoff. Like, for as much as season 8 really fucked up, you gotta say, the one thing they at least did some cool justice to is, like, Arya's whole storyline is fantastic. But, like, man, in my mind, up until, you know, the thing happens, I was just convinced. I was absolutely convinced she was not making it out of that. Like, ugh. They should have an NPC in the supplement. That's one of the plans. Wait, so cultists killed him in his party and took their faces to infiltrate their stronghold. If the players love the character, not the visuals, then changing faces is not a problem at all. Let the NPC die again. It's a problem. They have no idea. I plan to have them get the cultist base and attack during the boss fight. So if you have a plan, the attachment that your players have to a certain character, like, if you have a plot set, you know, yeah, sure, be flexible as a DM where you're like, this is a thing that I'd like to keep around, or like, there's also a matter of overdoing it, where they love this thing so much, I'm going to have it around all the time, and then they get tired of it, right? Can the Sovereign have an ability to change the actions of allies before they do them to prevent stuff? That would be taking away agency, and I don't want to do that. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm really following some of the hang-ups that are happening with the... Yeah. Oh, God, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, the world was rough, you know? I mean, calling him Bran the Broken, right? Look, it kind of conveys, yeah, man, they're not exactly sensitive in that world. You know, I think... I mean, I can understand how some people, right, would be like, you call, like, this is a fantasy thing I had to get over, right, was people calling him, like, oh, this is Salty Sam One Eye, and I'm like, okay, well, so he's got one eye, I take it? All right, you know, like, that gets to be a little obnoxious, you know? But like eventually I was like, you know what, it's a grimmer world, and like they're not gonna exactly be super PC about it, you know. Like, so you know, you kind of gotta know what you sign up for with that. um like Brand the Broken, in a way there's kind of a term of endearment in there, right? Like there's almost a term of respect in what eventually happens with Bran. Yeah, Charo has it 100% right. Discard all preconceptions. The story is not written yet until you tell it. That's the correct thing. Until you've made it like canon at the table, then what you have envisioned is just what's in your mind. The world is, yeah. There you go. If that's the kind of fantasy that your players and you have decided, like, this is the story we want to tell, then tell that story. You know, like, this is that thing. What do we call it? What do you call this? Whenever you're in a video game and the game is giving you a choice about, like, this will greatly impact the story. Like, what do we call that? Is there a mechanical name for that? Is it like, is it like a fate moment, or I guess we'll call it that, right? Like a choice. But like this is a thing that we've seen in a lot of modern games, right? Like they will remember this choice or whatever. This will have a great impact on the story. I guess the choice of destiny, whatever you wind up going through. It's not just making a decision. There's like a real cinematic thing that happens here. Divergence point. I think I've heard that before. Yeah, where like the plot line will drastically change if you make this decision compared to another one, right? So like we have, I'll run with divergence point for right now. Like we have these divergence points constantly whenever we're DMing. And I know a lot of us have probably felt this whenever we DM, whenever it's like we've had a player go down and they're making death saving throws, and we have our enemy standing over them, like wielding their sword or whatever, and they could really easily finish them off. We have that moment in our heads as a DM where we're like, all right, what do I do? Do I kill this character? What, like, because that's going to result in X, Y, Z thing happening. This player might not like me for this. What, you know, there's a lot of that, like, anxiety-ridden kind of divergence point moment that happens right there. These pivotal moments, right? So there's a certain amount of anxiety that comes from that, and you thinking you're making the wrong choice here, but you have to make a choice. There's a great quote by Rush in a Rush song, you know, even if you do not make a choice, you still made a choice. Or if you choose, what is it? Even if you don't choose, you still made a choice. No matter what, in order for progress to be made, you have to make choices. You know, like you have to be, in order for a thing to be productive, you have to make choices. And if the point of D&D is to tell a story, well, a story has to progress. And in that, you're going to have to make these choices, right? So you are the storyteller. It sounds like out of the Matrix. I want to get that quote right. What is it? It's not the trees. Free will. I will choose free will. Yeah. If you choose not to decide, you have still made a choice. Yep, there we go. So, I mean, and if you don't listen to Rush, you definitely should. There's some great, oh man. Not just because the music fucking rocks, but because there's some great philosophy in all their lyrics. They already sent him away when they faced an owlbear with rage and they knew he had sneak attack. You know, this is the kind of thing that you should... I don't want to tell you something that is going to feel ultimately like, well, I listened to Taryn and therein my story sucks now, right? Ultimately, whatever you decide is the thing, like, things will be okay. You know, it's D&D, it's just a story, right? It's the kind of thing that, like, you can either kill this character or have them actually not be the thing that died or whatever, right? But no matter what, the story will continue. or it doesn't, and the campaign ends because, you know, there's really not, the world's not going to end all because of this one direction you're choosing to take the story in, unless it's you're choosing to end your world, right? I guess it's a kind of a bad example, but you know what I mean? The real world's not going to end because you may have made a maybe clumsy decision in the storytelling, whatever. Your plot lines, your continuity. This should be a great piece of advice to anybody out there doing D&D. Your story continuity is never going to be ironclad. There will be problems, okay? And it's going to be the kinds of things that you will eventually think back on later on in like a week or two and think, wow, I'm so dumb. How did I not tie that thing up, right? Like, and that's okay. That is fine, you know? Really having a lot of anxiety about this. I do everything I can to avoid planning for this game so much it gives me anxiety. My number one tip, my absolute number one tip, even before what I just said, right? Did I say that was my number one tip? It's not. It's not my best tip ever. My best tip ever for planning D&D, and like, if you're going to be a DM, this is the thing that you need to keep in mind. Do not spend any more than half the time you intend on playing doing prep work. That is the number one way to burn yourself out, okay? Is if you are prepping so much for D&D that like you spend a fraction of that time actually playing the game. Because then you're just not going to feel like what you're doing is even worthwhile. You're going to feel like there's a subconscious thing that will happen where we're like, I feel like I'm just doing so much work even making this game run or making the story work, and you're going to burn yourself out. It's just the labor that you put into it compared to the payoff of actually sitting at the table and that having that fun experience. Man, it's got to be worth it. You know, that the exchange of time prepped to time played, it's got to go more in your favor. It has to. One learns to throw away plot lines as if they're used like Kleenex. You got, yeah, right? Can the Sovereign, when holds its action, be able to use its reaction to use it in the turn of an ally? Not like an at specific time, but being able to ready things and change a plan at last second. That's something you can already do in the game. That's called the ready action. I didn't mean that to sound condescending. I'm sorry. I was trying to play that up for a gag, but yeah. No, the ready action already allows you to do that. You enjoy planning as much as playing, if not more sometimes. Some people love the prep. Some people love the world building, right? But yeah, there is such a thing as over prepping. And over prepping will burn you out. Will absolutely burn you out. You were sure the ready action was for a specific trigger? My bad. Generally, yes, you need to state, like, I'm going to hold off my attack until, like, if there's a more opportune time or something like that, right? Like, I'm going to use a ready action to ready an attack to do this or whatever. But that kind of flexibility in there, the game already kind of covers that territory. Should there be a feature that improves your allies during downtime? That is basically, I guess this is in combat for Inspiring Ruler. There's a feat I'm trying to make sure I do not step on. Oh, did that delete that? Oh, man, now this just looks bad. Can I unblock elements? Oh, does anybody know how I can unblock an element on here? I'll figure that out after stream. There's a feat that I took a bit of mechanic from, but is a natural fit on anybody wanting to roll up a Sovereign, that I don't want to eat this up. this is an okay feat. But if I were to just give you this as a part of the class, it's going to feel like it's redundant for the system I'm currently trying to put this into. So I don't really want to do that. But there are other things you can get out of this, like diplomacy is supposed to help out, and this is going to be the unique way that you be a face, right? And there's other things that you can get as a part of your day, right? We don't have to completely bog the core down here. This is you during downtime. This is a role-play centric kind of a thing. Inspiring ruler. This is another thing why your allies should probably be trying to keep you alive, right? Why they need to be... This enforces, it's a support, but also, like, man, this really makes you a prime target in combat. Lead by example is also, like... attack roll. Yeah, I didn't want to make this spammable on ability checks, but this is the kind of thing that, like, you do something that rocks, your allies can also rock as well. Maybe look in a different direction than temp HP for downtime. Yeah, sure. It's just not... I'm not totally sold on that really being required, especially not in the core. That could be a thing, maybe tacked on later on, but yeah. So, let me get into the whole reason why I really kind of got started with stream tonight. And that was to really talk about this feature that I wrote, Authority. This has shifted a lot since we last streamed. Okay. Another feature, when you drop to 0 HP, you grant an ally a free turn. That's going to eat up power budget, and I'm just not really, like, sold on the necessity for it. We need to figure out a core that's really necessary for this thing, right? It could be something that happens later, but yeah. So, Authority. Here we're just focusing on the core. So, if you got ideas and stuff to throw out there, wait until you see this stuff. Go check out the document to see if I've already written it and that you understand kind of where my brain's going. And yeah. So, Authority. You can use a bonus action to issue an order. This order is a call to action that invokes your authority, emboldening you and your allies within 30 feet of you who can hear you. The effect of an order you issue lasts until the start of your next turn, and some orders are detailed below. Assail. You target one creature within 30 feet of you that you can see and give an order to attack. The next attack made by an ally against the target has advantage. This is basically like you are able to take help at range, but specifically only for the attack action. This is one of the things I'm not a big fan of with this, is that this does step on Mastermind Rogue a little bit. If you're not multi-classing over, it's not, I don't think that this feels really redundant, but it should be stated that, like, this is kind of a core thing to Mastermind Rogue. So that's what I'm keeping in mind here with this. I guess I can type that as a comment here so you guys can see my thought process. We worried about this stepping on. Okay. Now, the other thing is, like, this is the next attack made by an ally. So it's actually a little bit stronger than the help action in that number one, you don't need to be up there next to it, right? Mastermind Rogue lets you do this as a bonus action and you get to be at distance, which is very, very good. This is also allowing you to do this at distance, but it's the next attack an ally makes against the target has advantage. This is going to scale up really well here in just a little bit whenever we go over to some of the ideas I have for Voice of Authority. Now, Bolster. Your allies that are under an effect that would end on a successful saving throw can immediately attempt the saving throw. I thought that this would be really cool. This is a very strong effect. I thought that this would be cool as long as you weren't also under the effect. Like, as long as you were okay, you could then bolster your allies. But I'm, you know, sitting on that right now. Yeah, all the Mastermind Rogue players are crying right now. This is what they wish they could have gotten, actually. I think that this is so good. This is the way that, like, help as a bonus action can feel pretty awesome. I'm like, God. And then you'll see how this is going to manipulate, not really manipulate, but like optimize its action economy. Yeah, bolster is basically another shot to make a saving throw. It is very good. Does this add a saving throw, or does it mean that they cannot make another at the end of the turn? This is, they just immediately make the saving throw. And this is basically like, they just get the chance to do it right now. So it doesn't, there's no overriders because it doesn't say they, instead of at their turn or whatever, they just immediately make it. So it's essentially another saving throw they get to make against it. To me, bolster has a thing because maybe it really blocks many status effects in a group. That's the intention of it, yes. The sail to me feels like the steady moment when a commander says, yeah, that's the thought, right? Okay, and then, let me make a comment here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Charge. So, you and your allies can move an additional 10 feet on your turns. I guess it's your... What is... You and your allies can move an additional 10 feet on your... Because this your turns makes it sound like it only works during your turn, not your allies as well on their turn, right? I guess it's just... While moving towards a hostile creature. Sure. Doesn't need this round because that's already clarified by right up here. Let me just point this. Okay. Yeah, all that stuff's already carried all up here. Is the effect of the aura active when the party leaves a radius during their turn? Yes. There's nothing, so don't think of it as an aura. I can hear you. Is there a reason why this is being thought of as if they leave the area, they don't get the benefits? Because it's basically it's no different than if you had targeted them with a spell that has a range of 30 feet and then they move away from you, right? You cast enhanced weapon or what am I thinking? Elemental weapon on a paladin. It doesn't matter if he gets a mile away from you, right? As long as that duration still persists, that spell still works. You don't think of it as an aura, but it works like an aura. Well, like, I mean, you can literally say like any area of effect is an aura. Like any area of an effect that is like centered on you is an aura, right? So you know it's not so much an aura as much as it's an AOE, right? This is an area that you affect with this. So charge. I think that this is pretty okay. It's not as good as dash as a bonus action, as in like you giving out that dash as a bonus action. But wow, is it ever awesome in terms of you being able to dish out movement to your buddies like this. Like, overall, it doesn't increase the party's... Let me say this. The amount of feet, the distance that your party is moving overall is actually mathematically kind of the same here. Because if somebody took the dash action as a bonus action on their turn, they're getting another 30 feet of movement, usually, right? This is you dishing out 40 feet. Like, I think that's pretty good. So Fortify, you and your allies gain the benefits of... Oh, hey, Darren. You and your allies gain the benefits of half cover while within 5 feet of another ally. Passive, it encourages your buddies to actually flank up. Should they choose to get this benefit, boom, they get a +2 to their armor class and dexterity saving throws if they are within 5 feet of somebody else. So it's making you think about positioning here, rather than saying they get a +1 bonus to their AC. They get a +1 bonus to their AC is just universally awesome. And you're also going to be thinking about this whenever you're going to issue the order, right? Like, are they in line with each other? So I like that it's making you think a bit more tactically. You think, you know what, the problem why the cursors always get lost in the document? You didn't create a cursor parking lot in my... A what? Cursor parking lot? What do you mean? I've never heard of that before. Like an area where people just like, you go put your cursor here whenever the document's done, and then... The old orc's aggressive feature. Ooh. Actually, that's a very... Yeah, that's the wording... Where was it? You must move... It says a bonus action. You move up to your speed towards an enemy of your choice that you can see or hear. Is this not... Is this dash? Is this dash? Because it doesn't say that you're not using your movement speed. Is this actually broken? Like, not... I'm not talking about overpowered. I'm talking about, does this actually work? Because it doesn't say that you don't... It is the dash? Is it? I mean, if that's the intent, it's really good, but doesn't this subtract from your movement speed? And the way that it's currently worded? Not like the dash action, but kind of is. They must end this movement. Well, I don't know that this is... They must end their movement closer to the enemy than when they started. I think that I actually get this across a little bit more graceful, right? Darren suggested maybe move towards the nearest enemy because it's possible to charge and run away from a threat. Oh, 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 oh. Oh. Hmm. When moving towards a hostile creature within 60 feet of you, you and your allies can move an additional 10 feet. Hang on. Hmm. Yeah, the 60 feet is also a thing, right? And like, are they going to use it and move away from them? Are you really using charge as a way to say, here, get your 10 feet and run this way? Circle charges is a thing. And like, if they allow for that, then whatever. Do a similar wording to the Proctor from the Runekeeper. What did I write? God, it's like that. Now it feels like ancient history. It was a giant rune, right? Proc. Ah. Oh, man. Good reference there. Yep. Okay. Well, that's freebie dash. Yeah, class written mind empty. Yep. Yep. I'm like, I need to not look at the thing for a while. Um. No, that is free dash. What's this? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's an edge case, and like some people might, if they do that and they're like, "Can I do this?" Then the DM can be like, "Well, I can either allow this and let it be a precedent at my table, or, you know, I can say no, it's got to be towards the thing, right?" Which most reasonable DMs are going to be like, "Yeah, it should be towards the thing. You know what it's meant to evoke, right? That's the narrative." Sure, we can chew on it and keep figuring out a way to make that wording make sense. I think this works, right? And fair, yeah. Uh, are we looking for something new, or are we looking to improve on what we have? I'm trying to do a little bit of comparative balance right now. I'm trying to make sure that things kind of click, make sense. But yeah, so charge, I think I like that idea. Bonus action that you can get 10 feet and then also give your buddies 10 feet. And the fact that it's a bonus, oh, that's actually a good change. The fact that it's a bonus action means it doesn't benefit from Rogue doing the dash action. You're going to have to use your turn to dash if you want to get... Ooh. Oh, it overrides cunning action. And that's actually pretty good. It's actually more balanced as a bonus action than if it was an action. Kind of. You're dishing it out to a rogue that can then dash as a bonus action, which can then benefit from this. This is good. Yeah, yep. That's what you want. You're also giving that mobility to your monks. Yep. More incentive for people to want to protect you. This is the way that this needs to be. I actually think that now, ooh, man, I'm very happy with how that's sitting right there. You're gonna stick to the plan? Yeah. I hope it all works out. Well, here's what I'll say. It will work out how it's supposed to work out. Everything's gonna be fine. Hey, Blue Thumbnail, how's it going? Okay, so this next one. Let's just get terms of fortify is maybe too good. It's not an AoE shield spell. So, Fortify. This one is... It's not shield spell. It's closer to Shield of Faith. It's better than Shield of Faith in a way. Shield of Faith is a first level spell that has a duration of 10 minutes. It's a bonus action, grants it range of 60 feet. This is an instantaneous bam. I do this, and it's conditional in that you and your allies gain the benefits of half cover while within 5 feet of another ally. So it's relying on you all have to be next to each other. You have to be sticking close to each other to gain this benefit, right? And I think that that's pretty okay. While this is on, as long as you're maintaining concentration, this is just a +2 bonus to AC that you get. Awesome. Great. This is like, you're going to have to possibly sacrifice your mobility just to get that defense there. I think this is really good. What if charge use your allies' reaction to move immediately, like get into position? Oh man, this is where English gets to be weird. Okay. Yoink that from Glamour Bard. It's not. We're losing a bit of the grace of it. Yes. Wait, Bard College. Okay, so then College of Glamour. When a creature gains these temporary hit points, it can immediately. Ah, there we go. Ooh, good call. I never understood why they said up to its speed. I've never understood. You can move for less, yeah, but like, isn't that already covered by movement? You can or you can choose to do that. Like, it always seemed like an odd bit of redundant text to me, because it doesn't say you have to move up to its speed. You have to move to that speed, right? I don't think that's the case. I don't think that there's a case that says that you have to move up to your speed. If you're moving during your turn, you have to move up to your speed. Move is used not only for movement as your action, but moving less too. Glamour Bard and Dissonant Whispers don't use your movement from your regular turn. But this would? I think that this reaction is causing a bit more of a headache than it's worth, and that's going to eat up power budget. I think we can get rid of that. We can figure something else out later. It's also just going to bloat this down, and it's just not really super necessary. Okay, so I'm very happy with Fortify. Like, very happy. We know that this is really good. And the fact that it is a flexible command in here, not just one of the things that, like, this is one of 2 or 3 things you can do, is really good. Yeah, it's starting to take away a little bit of their agency in their character, right? Now, Retreat. Retreat is opportunity attacks targeting you and your allies are made with disadvantage. This is not as good as disengage as a bonus action during your turn. For you, right? You, ideally, should not be in the front line. If you do get up into the front line, okay, fine. The one that probably will be getting up into the front line is that warrior court that's going to have the additional like hit points to deal with some of that stuff. You know, high level you can give reactions and bonus actions to others by spending your own. Just an idea, simple, but I'm afraid it could be too OP. I don't know that dishing out stuff like that is the direction to go in. Plus, I already made that class. It's called the Dancer. Retreat, you don't know you always saw those features is kind of weak, yeah. Retreat being opportunity attacks made against you and your allies are made with disadvantage. Ooh. They're going to feel a lot more secure about dashing as a bonus action if they get up there. You know, you look at your monk, whatever. An opportunity attack it has to be made against you with disadvantage. Retreat seems kind of weak. Um, I think that that's intentional. Um, you are giving a buff here. This buff shouldn't be a hard override, like they can just disengage. Where if they can just disengage, like they can use a reaction to immediately take the disengage action, that's whoa too good. We have a feature here that is something that can be built off of for later. Simply causing the opportunity attack to be made with disadvantage is pretty good to every single one of your allies. Holy crap. Yeah, this is something that I think is designed for a niche, and that's okay here. Because it's tied into a lot of other stuff that, like, you're probably going to be using a lot of. In the situation that you really want to help your buddies get away from a thing, you've got retreat. Is fortify better to do for retreating? Yeah, if you've got someone that's grouped up there next to you, maybe. But it's only a +2. Opportunity attacks made against you are made with disadvantage is on average about a -4.5 penalty to the attack roll. Like, that's really good. Really good. So think about it like that, right? Think about it as if you are giving your buddies a 4.5 to their armor class against opportunity attacks. You and your allies, right? Now, here's where I think that you guys that are worried about, like, man, these seem kind of weak. Here's where I think that you guys are going to be pretty happy with how this is going to roll. Here's the plan for how I have this scaling up. You can use your authority feature as a reaction at the end of another creature's turn. If the effects of an order are currently active when you use this reaction, the effects overlap. That right there is how I'm thinking about this thing getting extra authority, right? What is the extra attack equivalency, right? You can use your authority feature as a reaction when you roll initiative. I love these, like, you can use this thing as a reaction when you roll initiative. That seems so cool. Define overlap the same way they define it as spell effects in the player's handbook. Oh. Memes. The same name ability can't be twice or something, huh? Like aid and aid can't be on the same creature at the same time. You mean like you can't have 2 instances of extra attack? Ideally, the feature should be worded in a way to where you don't even need to worry about that. Hey, what's up, Riker? You don't really see, plus being able to get an extra boon for bonus action dashes. I love that idea. Like, you know that your buddies are going to try to get away and you want to get them away quicker, but you're worried about them getting hit. This is really good. This covers a niche. Well, it's not even a niche situation. It's your buddies that are on the front line need to get out. You want them to dash with their turn. This is so good. Like, oh. You kind of like retreat. Now, good. I'm glad I could convince you guys that this is actually pretty damn strong. This, I love Fortify because, like, if we're going to allow you to do this infinitely, this needed to have some kind of a restriction in here. And I think that the restriction being tactically, like, where you position on the battlefield, That feels very good. And see how, here's the thing that I wanted to achieve. See how with all 5 of these, it doesn't punish somebody for not listening to you. All 5 of these are going to be, you can issue the order. You're not going to waste your bonus action by doing this. And then your buddies are going to get a benefit if they decide to listen to it. It doesn't took away any of their agency. There's a thing for better AC and tanking your players, such as diffusing the opportunity attacks. A nice place for your ability to be useful sometimes. That's the thing, right? It doesn't have to cover every territory. This is a very, very, very nice core right here as a bonus action. Like, what else are you going to be doing with your turn as an action XYZ thing? Leaving that kind of open, because I think with all the subclasses being pretty open-ended in terms as to what they're going to do with their action, I don't think we need to define what they do with their action in this feature. Reinforcing that too much, I think, is going to limit our design space. Is it okay to have retreat work as a way to charge through a crowd? That's, again, that kind of fringe situation that I'm like, eh. Like, I guess you could say that, like, while moving away from a hostile creature. But, like, they're made against you with disadvantage. So, like, you know, we could scrutinize it into the ground and to where we're like, while they're using their movement speed to make it to get away from another creature that could make an opportunity attack against them, using the attack action with a melee weapon attack, while or we can just say make it. Or this is pretty simple, and I think it gets across what it's saying, right? Because if we get too critical with it, we design ourselves into way redundant design. And I love that, like, this achieves everything we want it to. 5 things right here. And, like, these 2 are probably the most wordy. But, God, this is so... Oh, man, I love this. I think that authority right now... this is, like, where I would want to... I feel like this is a really good way to do a commander. Just personally. I think that this is, like... You issue the order. If your buddy follows it, they get a benefit, right? If not, it doesn't. You didn't waste your turn. Nothing about this is going to feel like you have wasted that bonus action unless literally, like, you issue the assail order and all of your buddies are like, nah, we're good. Nah, we're good. Right? Why is the duck to the eye? Oh, crap. Probably because Streamlabs. Oh, man. Hang on. Let me fix that. Yeah, I just, it used the same, it just pulled over the description from the last live stream. Where is... Oh god, you guys have been really busy in the Sovereign chat channel. Where is this? Where's the dog? As soon as I find this, I'll post it up in chat and pin it. Oh, wow, those are all a year old. Okay, I scrolled way too far. Okay, there we go. Pin it. There we go. Let's take this over in the chat. Get that up. There you go. Okay. Oh, damn, I didn't get dinner. What am I gonna eat? Dirge, you getting me more art? Ooh. Ooh. Alright. Oh. Hang on. Alright. I will eat something. Dirge just got me back a new piece of artwork for the dancer. It's not colored in just yet, but yeah. Oh. Oh. I love where the sketch is going. Oh, I see. This is the style, right? Like, this is why whenever I saw Dirge's style over like in a past stream, I was like, "Yep, this is what I want." This is like, oh, that style is capturing the kind of fantasy I love to tell. This is the designs and everything that are going on in this, right? Yeah. Oh, Maxwell. Yeah, Maxwell, dude. Oh. Okay. I think the change for the rapier for the dagger. Oh man, this is really selling it. I love the little the kind of like fence post looking thing at the end of it that just kind of adds that idea. Like that seems royal, and I have nothing to reference. Maybe like a chess piece head, you know? Like, oh, that's so cool. Something like 18th and 19th century Slavic Europeans. Yeah, you know what? Like, I am seeing a lot of like, I don't know why, but like Slavic kind of like influence in your artwork. Was that like an intentional thing? I mean, I guess the name like Palikov, right? Like, oh, I love like all this stuff with the dress. Yeah, this is gonna be so sick. Oh, the hair, just. Yes. Yep, I'm here for this. Man, I cannot wait to see what happens with like all the different subclasses. Oh. Yes, bravo. Awesome work. So good. Okay. Oh. Oh, yeah. All right. That was good to see. Oh man. That's a big morale booster. Comment history, is that just... What are you talking to? Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, spicy. Yeah, that dress is killer. Oh, man. Okay, so... This is where I really like authority sitting. This is a very strong bonus action. Few ways I'm currently justifying this. This doesn't scale up in the same way that Bard's Bardic Inspiration will. You can have other uses that you get out of this, right? But like, Bard's Bardic Inspiration starts to very quickly outscale Advantage. It's not the same mechanic as Advantage, but it starts to outscale it pretty quick. It has a limited number of uses, no out of combat, right? Yeah. There's no out of combat stuff that you get out of this right here. I mean, what are they going to do? We're going to say charge at a rat or something? Like, meh, eh. You could just continually spam fortify while you're walking in a line or whatever. Meh. That becomes a pretty obnoxious way to try and keep using this, right? Hey, Tahu, how's it going? Yeah, that's a big point to this, you know. Bard's getting Bardic Inspiration, spell casting. They're getting their full casting progression. Right now they're getting 2 cantrips, 2 spells, or 4 spells known, and then 2 spell slots, right? on top of light armor prof. We're pretty similar looking in terms of the... I guess it's kind of weird for it not to get short swords. Yeah, oh, and it needs to be in alphabetical order. And I am doing good. I am starting to get hungry, but I am feeling very, very positive about this thing's core right here, for sure. Diplomacy, second level. I don't think that this has changed much since the last time that you guys saw it on stream, other than I moved it away from the first up here to the second, because I think that authority is the firm establishing thing. Bam, here is what you do, right? This is, hey, what's up, Mitchell? Progress is going very good. I think we've gotten a good core here. Diplomacy is going to be how you're going to face here. This also actually has some combat relevance because thankfully they added in like parlay mechanics in Tasha's. So there is a bit of like combat manipulation. If you're smart, you can get, you know, that out of here. And then, oh yeah, this is going to be like, additionally, if you make the check against a creature that respects your position of leadership, you can roll a d6 and add it to the check. I wanted to, I think ribbons are the place where you can add that kind of like, how do you put it? DM fiat kind of stuff, right? You can roll a d6 and add it to the check. This is flat on top of any modifiers you've given already, right? And this is just an extra boop, average of 3.5. This is never going to be redundant. So, yeah, so not like yeah, it is a nice little bonus up on top of all that, right? Now, you're considered proficient in the skill even if you don't already have it, right? And then you can use your leadership modifier for the check rather than the ability asked for in the skill. Some tables just straight up override that anyways, and like clerics making wisdom religion checks, you know, that kind of a thing. This is just a hard overrider for that. And then if you're getting expertise in that thing, I didn't want to just give you expertise. A lot of you have already heard I have a kind of a problem with is that expertise as a feature? Yes, right? Yeah, expertise. Wow, why was I thinking it was named something different? I have a problem with expertise as a feature because it just feels like it's kind of bland and it eats up power budget, right? Expertise is not as good as you think. Yeah, too early. I am so kind of like underwhelmed with this, right? Like, it just feels like it's meant to allow you to be a blank skill monkey. And I would have rather, like, you guys already know I'm not a fan of the bard by now, right? Like, this, what they should have done is just make this the, like, what do they want to make? Let's say this. Here's my idea, right? What bard should have been, remove all the musical aspects of it, make this your mystic. Make the mystic the class that can blend a bunch of different spell lists together. Make it a half caster. Is this what Benjamin did? Like, it does stack with advantage. Yep, it stacks with advantage. I think it's very, very good. And I've been using this a bit whenever I've been doing my more modern designs. Mostly because like I want to get out of the idea of you having all these redundancies that can potentially happen because you took a certain feat or because your race, you know, whatever. You being able to just get this additional bonus on top for this check. especially because it's given DM fiat here. I really dig this idea. So, inspiring ruler. This is pretty nuts. Out of anything that I've given you so far, I think that this may be the feature that people will point to and say, I won't allow it on my table because of this right here. But, yeah, the thaumaturg, yeah, it's originally, whenever he called it the Mystic, I couldn't remember if he made that a full or a half caster. You're Not Alone, Bard is your least favorite. Yeah, Bard just, like, there's a lot of things that they should have done with Bard, or a music. Like, all right, music teacher here, musician, right? WotC should have really brought someone on. If they were going to write a musician-based class, they should have brought someone on that actually understands music to help out with the design, right? Even as just like a lore consultant, like what would music mean to you in fantasy? What does a musician kind of a character mean? Bard is a strange class because it is meant to be a very universal, like, Bard and its lore is a very, very cool idea. Bard and its lore as this kind of historian, lore-grabbing kind of a character, very cool. But, like, if you're going to make a musician in D&D, Bard can fail that a lot. Like, Bard just doesn't, it feels like on the music side of Bard is all left up to roleplay. None of it's evoked in its core mechanics, right? Most of your problem with Bard is 100% subjective, just like the wacky, silly fuckboy theme. Yeah, and that's like all a lot of people really want to play it as, you know. Bard should have been an int class, you think? Because, I mean, that might sound weird right now to some people, but I can see the reason why you might want to, you know, trust me, I've met plenty of musicians that are uncharismatic motherfuckers, but they can rip it, right? Like, they're sick players. But, man, you try to get them to, like, you know, there's some musicians that I've worked with that I would absolutely play a gig with any day of the week, but I wouldn't go grab a beer with them, you know? Like, just feels like the Bard narrative in D&D is way different than what we see in other media. Yeah, is it Vote from Kingkiller Chronicles? Because I can never remember how to say that character's name. Patrick Rothfuss's character, right? Like, you know, Vote is a charismatic bard. I'm trying to think of, like, who are some famous bards? Like, in fantasy, right? Dandelion, right? Well, Dandelion kind of comes with that. And again, you know, wacky, silly fuckboy. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, a bard. What do I think of the bards from Pathfinder? You know what's cool? I just got that big ass bundle from Pathfinder. Oh, wait. Hold up, let's see. Oh, this is advanced class guide. Where's just a regular class guide? Classes. They had their Scald. Their Scald's a half-caster. Or wait, do Pathfinder spells only go up to 6th level? Curious if anybody knows. You think the core fantasy of the bard is meant to be invoking magic through creativity, like music, dance, art, or tale-telling? And to me, To me, each of the different fine arts definitely could have had their own class. Music, 100%, we could have had a songster slash songstress. Dance, I made the damn dancer. Art, physical art. You know how cool it would be to have like an illusion based like painter, right? I mean, fucking Ross wrote The Sculptor. Like some kind of Rudy got the chalk zone animator style like thing. Oh, College of Creation as a full class, dude. What? I mean, even like Runekeeper, you've got a linguist right there. You can even argue that that's like a form of like physical. I'm carving in art. I'm using my calligrapher's. That's why I gave you calligrapher's tools. I even thought like, our DM's going to be cool with you just painting it on there. Cool, you could be a painter Runekeeper. I think that making Bard this like, I'm going to encompass all the fine arts as like what those characters could mean for the game. Oh god, I don't think it does it. Like, I don't think it clicks. Chuck's on track so hard to exist as a show. It was a great show. I've seen some of it here lately. Like, I guess it was like 2 years ago or something. I think it was Saberspark actually did a video on Chalk Zone, and I remember seeing some of the jokes, and I'm like, man, this worked whenever I was a kid, but now I'm like, oh god, I think I would just roll my eyes. The humor's all right. It's a completely harmless show, but the magic system of it was very cool. That's what sold it to me. Like, they had such a cool plot for it, right? Like, oh. Fireball, it's better to fix the history. Yeah, but like, I just don't think that the Bard is like, man, I'm just annoyed by the Bard more than anything else these days. There's so many flaws with that class that like, man, yeah. Oh crap, there was a direction for that. Akita said, going back to the Sovereign, I think Inspiring Ruler is too much with those temp HP just sticking in. Maybe if they were only for one round, it would be better. Oh. Okay, I see what you mean. It's too many temporary hit points dished out to just not in terms of like a balance thing, but like the narrative of it. I don't want to introduce an element of tracking. I think that whenever I'm writing for a martial list, I want to remove as much tracking as I can. But even giving 10 HP for turn for only one turn in combat is kind of insane. It should be. You are a D6. We want this to be, the enemies need to try and take you down. It is not. It doesn't. This is actually weaker than Twilight Domains. Reason being, and you all have heard me, I've criticized the shit out of Twilight Domain. Alright? At the start of your turn in combat, let me just read the full feature, okay? You're a beacon of inspiration for your allies in the thick of battle, especially so when they know you're safe. At the start of your turn in combat, you grant each of your allies within 30 feet of you that can see you temporary hit points equal to your sovereign level plus your leadership modifier. You do not grant this benefit if you're incapacitated or if you have taken damage since the end of your last turn. So, oh wait. Should you have to be at full health for this? Or missing any of your hit points? Because I think that there was a frustration going on. Like, there was a frustration that was happening with this, causing an element of tracking whenever, if you're missing any of your hit points, then it caused a problem. And I can't remember what. At a meta level, DM can turn it off easily. I think that it's most justified that the enemies are trying to be targeting your king or queen. That's basic warfare. We're trying to take out the leader. Maintaining full health is very hard. It's a lot easier when you're given temporary hit points, though. One of 3 to 4 like aura-like effects, like advantage on saves, or yeah, I'm just not sold on that. What if it's well above half health? Then that's going to be essentially no different than Twilight Domain. It is, but it may be both unfun for you if you're getting targeted, or kind of too easy if not getting focused. Like, if you're a player at the table, you are a target. Like, let's, if you're signing up to play a combat simulator, you are a target. You are a viable target on the battlefield. Now, if you're playing somebody who is a squishy, yeah, you're definitely a target. That's just the truth to this game. And if you feel bad because you feel like, I don't want to feel like I'm too targeted by the DM, man, part of me thinks that that's kind of a you problem and not really a DM problem. In like, the DM's job is to present a challenge to you. And part of the challenge of this game is that your hit points will go down. It gets harder for you to do the thing that achieves the win condition of the game, right? And like, if that win condition, like, if you taking hit points bothers you, you probably shouldn't be playing combat simulators. And I'm not meaning that like directed, I'm just saying that's kind of a general statement to anybody playing D&D or, getting into it, right? They mentioned one battle, now you don't have a feature going into the next battle. That's what I would worry about, right? Like, the cleric should get over to you to heal you up. Now, if you're doing this, you haven't taken damage since the end of your last turn, and you provide this thing, few deals here. For one thing, for anybody that's in chat, this wording right here clarifies what this is going to be doing outside of combat for you. Nothing. Because this is already really, really good. So, this also doesn't step on Inspiring Leader's turn, because Inspiring Leader is specifically outside of combat. So here within combat, could you have the Inspiring Leader temporary hit points already? Yeah, absolutely. But here in combat, if you can't get those temp HP, guess what? A Sovereign can potentially dish them out. You're just not sure how much temp HP it should give. I think there's an argument to be made that it should be this. Because right now it would be like 5, right? Scales all the way up to about 25. Now the way to check this out, this seems a lot better. It would fall off dramatically at later levels. dramatically later on. Let's just look 27, right? Yeah, let's just see the big bad boys. Give me, let's say, where's the workshop at? Dungeon Master Toolkit. Where it's not table rules. Creating encounters, no. It's like heroism on everybody from the anti-fear. Creating a monster. Okay, cool. Here's what I'm looking at. This column right here. How dramatically does this hurt a thing's CR? So if we're looking at like first level, 9 to 14, if we say that you can subtract, let's say 3 every round, that does knock it down a peg. Does knock it down. Alright, let's say plus your sovereign level, right? Let's look at the CR2s, right? Your sovereign level 2 plus 3, so 5, right? 15 to 20, let's knock that down to 10 to 15. That actually, wow, that does quite a lot, actually. That knocks a creature's offensive CR down by a whole... Oof. So, that's very good. And this is part of the problem with Twilight Domain. But the problem with Twilight Domain is that it's just on. And you don't have to use anything in your action economy to continuously do that. Now, here's the problem, right? We don't have a source of scaling if we remove your sovereign level. Oh crap, I just realized you guys probably can't see that too well. Here, let's do this. This might screw up clips later on, but, you know, eh. Because we don't need the entirety of me and you guys, yeah, right? How's that look? That's fine. It barely improved anything. The zoom in and zoom out. Well, I guess since we're in the full screen, it's fine. Okay, so 3 right here at early levels is kind of okay, but like, man, that immediately loses relevance here. Like, real quick, that starts to fall off. What's the jump at like 20th level, right? Let's say your sovereign level's 20. You have a plus 5 in your leadership modifier. So 25, right? What's this range? 17? Okay. 17. At 25, we are... I mean, okay. But legitimately, this is what we're talking about. You should be prepped to fight as a 20th level character. Like, let's be real here. The only reason why you roll up 20th level characters in a game is to fight stuff that's like CR 25 and higher. Not CR 20 stuff. Yeah, you want to bully a Tarrasque, right? So, this range is 17. is... Interesting that that's what they decided. Like, they felt like that's what that needed to be built around. Okay, so 17... It tends to be that creature can only target one character. Well, I mean, ish. What about 10? What if we did half your sovereign level? No, we don't have the cool mirror to inspirational leader anymore. It's very hard to balance with a feature like that, and it's too GM dependent, I think, and I don't think I would be allowed to play something with Twilight Cleric-like powers. Any DM that's going to ban something because Twilight Cleric is, like, you know, like, in that realm, this isn't like that. You don't grant this benefit if you're incapacitated or if you have taken damage since the end of your last turn. This has counters in here. Once that Twilight Cleric puts up that Twilight Sanctuary, it doesn't require anything for other people other than just positioning, right? Like, as an action, you present your holy symbol and the sphere of twilight emanates from you. The sphere is centered on you, has a 30-foot radius, and is filled with dim light. The sphere moves with you, and it lasts for 1 minute, or until you are incapacitated or die, not just take damage, right? And this is not like... This is not like your hit points have to get hurt. It's just, even if it's your temporary hit points, whatever, if you have taken damage by any means, right, since the start of your last turn, this does not work. So what does the DM have to do if they don't want you to use this? Hit you. I think this is fine. It's not a resource, right? But, I mean, Cleric's going to have this in every combat, effectively. Like, realistically. Reason being... There we go. So, you can finish a short or long rest to get it again. If you're playing it very, very, very effectively, then you're going to be getting this every single combat encounter. Look at this, like, what inspiring leader needs. 10 minutes of story and once for rest, right? Like an inspiring leader without any actions and any cooldown. Cooldown, even if you practice once, it's like a free feat on level 2. All features are feats. Like, a feat should give you feature-like power. And you don't think anybody has powers like that in their base class? I mean... Okay, so we're introducing something experimental here. So yeah, I mean, if somebody already had something like this in their base class, I wouldn't really want to make it. That's my thing. I'm trying to bring a new spin on the game. So, like, if we're talking about comparable design, if we get too far into the weeds on comparable design, no, the 5 HP threshold is terrible, actually. Time for sleep. He's like, hey, I'm not super far behind you. Thanks for tuning in, Tahu. You like the idea, but the power might be too. It needs to be play tested for sure here. I mean, yeah. The thing I'm not really worried about with this, like, this is if you take damage, there is an off button for this. It is so much easier for a DM to turn this off than it is for a DM to turn off Twilight Sanctuary. But if you've got it, this is a great benefit right here. And this is reinforcing your buddies need to be protecting you. That 5 off every attack, every round added up. So I think that as of right now, like, this is okay. So some people have recommended the change for Twilight Sanctuary, right? Oh, jeez, I scrolled way too far. Okay, so people have recommended a change for this in that it requires concentration. I don't think that's the way to go with it because Cleric doesn't really always give a damn about concentration, especially because they have one of the best spells in the game with Spiritual Weapon, okay? Like, concentration isn't really what messes with this real hard. What would mess with this real hard, you think that Twilight Sanctuary would have had half the reaction it had if it said, the sphere moves with you, whenever a creature, including you, ends its turn in the sphere, you grant that creature one of these benefits, provided you haven't taken damage since the end of your last turn. I think people would be like, oh, Twilight Sanctuary actually kind of okay. Not that this would end, not that the effect would end, but that it can't provide the benefit if you've taken damage. Hey, Hair Crab, how's it going? We're doing good. We are just going through the core I'm thinking of for this thing. So I think it's actually pretty fair that this could be infinite. We can get it away from Channel Divinity if we have this restriction. And that's a big ass restriction. Because like I said, all your DM has to do is pop you once and then this thing can't be provided, right? Now, come up that next turn, you can make this trigger again. Great. Like, cool. What I think that this is going to do is cause the DM to, like, it is going to push the DM to kind of be picking on your character a little bit, but I think that's going to reinforce that, like, no, the party needs to defend the sovereign. And I love that. Oh, I think that's so cool. So I want to kind of keep it here for now. We'll see. This is one of the things that I'll probably earmark that, like, I love that Darren thinks that it's spicy. Yeah, there we go. Let's see what Ross thinks. Okay, lead by example. So this was... Oh, there we go. Wow, 206. Okay. Wasn't planning on it being a long stream tonight, so I'm just mostly kind of going through the core right here. As cool as this playstyle defining in a way. Okay, so Trek, you think that this is actually pretty okay? Because I think that this is sick. I am kind of convinced that, like, this is almost a thing that has to be on here. Plus, it's only in combat, you know. Lead by example hasn't changed pretty much at all. I don't think that this one's gotten changed. It is a banger gameplay-wise. Here at 3rd level, I've been kind of reserved on giving you anything at 3rd other than that. But I don't think I really have to be. Should just tweaking the numbers over to. Yeah. I like the idea of keeping the condition in there, right? Maybe take away the leadership modifier, but yeah. At third, Rogue is getting their roguish archetype. They're also getting their sneak attack improvement. You can choose not to take the temporary hit points. Yep. You can't use Armor of Agathis while the Sovereign is in play. You can. I am so terrified of building on anything that makes Armor of Agathis better. That's another one of those spells that I'm like, they need to do a major tweak on the system to fix interactions that can happen with that spell. What's Barbarian getting at third? Their subclass and then what? Just their subclass? They get another use of their rage. Alright, so here we step into that third level, like, we need that oomph that's suddenly going to be like, bam, I have all the stuff that's going to make me feel like this is my basic character build right here, right? We'll be at 20th level 25 and freak out. Yeah, 25 under the condition that you didn't take damage. Which, I mean, bigger level monsters, it's going to be easy for them to hurt you. So I wonder if third... Do we have a precedent for first, third? Is that Warlock? No, wait, no. No, what am I thinking of? No, that's your pack boon. Third, what am I thinking of? Man, yeah, 2 second level spell slots for short rest. Oh. Yeah, people try to think that something's balanced by thinking of the most broken thing it can get. You know, I design from a point of where I feel like I can at least give examples for like why I did the things I did, you know? Like, I want to show my work with it, you know? I think that Inspiring Ruler is fine as of right now. And I can point to the reason why I think it's fine. So I get depressed. Isn't there a 100 damage attack would also be something? Does that not mean you should give it to a level 1 class? I'm not sure what that is addressing. Like, we can objectively determine why that's not, you know, why that's not acceptable design. We're trying to find the flaws in this class. Sure. But that's kind of falling into what I've called like, I mean, I just don't think that you know, okay, so giving a intentionally broken example it's not really a what I think is like a great criticize, right? Yeah, ideation and balance are 2 separate phases of design. There we go. My thing is, I think at the third, I thought about giving you a new Sovereign Court feature in here, right? Oh god, Reddit criticism. I thought about it being like first, third. And if I do like, boom, boom, I lose out on giving you the extra attack equivalent at 6. Or we could say the pun is like, just like perfect order. You are exemplary of loss, so you get your subclass features at 1st, 5th, 10th, and 15th. Is that boring for some reason? No, because I think the other classes... The other classes kind of structure that around, at 5th level, other martialists are getting extra attack. This martialist is not. Five are crazy spells, 9 are crazy spells. Yeah, the thing that would be, actually, that's probably a good place to put. Respect my authority is funny, but yeah, it's a pun. Ooh. 11's not bad. 11 is safe. 11's very, very safe. I think... Okay. Too soon for legendary? I don't think so. Not for these. No. It'd be too soon for legendary reaction if it was like... Yeah, I mean, okay, Ross is a curse did set a standard for that. Yeah, because it's just giving you an additional reaction. Well, not an additional reaction, geez. 100 damage is an extreme example, but I'm saying that one should not make something too strong just because it's cool. Right? Yeah? I... Yeah? No, it's not. These are two separate things that you can do as a reaction. So I'm thinking, like, what is the... Because this is like... This is basically your version of extra attack here. I don't even think you say legendary authority. This isn't really too strong for this. A reaction that you're getting... Okay, so realistically, what is this? Let's say a reaction to do benefits of half cover. You use a bonus action on your turn, and then you can use a reaction after a creature's turn. You think Benjamin was working on a class of multi-reaction? Actually saw something about it on Twitter. I saw he sent Ross and I a preview the other night. Whew. Oh man, that might kind of be my cue right there because I think it's going to be 7:48 here. I need to eat, but I do want to hit. Yeah, the name's not fitting, right? This needs to be. This needs to get a name. What the hell? It's kind of designed not to be used much. Lead by example. Whenever that clicks in, boy, that's so good. And we're allowing your action to be freed up so that you can cause this to happen. And if other things are forcing you to succeed on a saving throw, boom, oh man. Um, when you are a creature that followed one of your orders, no wait, attack roll. Nah, that's gonna make that complicated. I was thinking that could be kind of funny if it was like, um, something rolls a 1 on an attack roll against you, then it's like you dodge that so well, everyone's like, "Oh, look at that dodge!" Oh man, um, Grand Authority, Orchestra of Battle, Song of War. Uh, Again, that leans a bit into tactician rather than illustrious command. Like, illustrious is cool. Like royal. I love the. You ever like just look at a word and think like, man, I just like the way that that word looks. Royal just has like a good shape to it. Royal. It is it. Oh, there's a cool. I don't know what. Um, just royal. It looks like it would just make a whole bunch of really great logos. I'm sure it has. Like Royal Command, I think is like oof. Yeah, right. Like you can say Royal Authority, but like Royal Command. Isn't this a Yu-Gi-Oh card? Yeah, it is. Why do I know that? I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh. Why the hell do I know that? Why? Yeah, wait. Why do I know that? That's weird. Does Royal have a runic word? Damn, that dodged my leash. How about respected reaction, reflexive mandate? Yeah, graphic designer moment. Um, I mean, Royal Command has like a precedent. Gallant Magistry. Magistry is cool. The Mandate of Heaven. Heavenly Mandate is a subclass I'm thinking of. Um, yeah, this is that can go away. I thought about this as an idea where like whenever something damages you, one of your allies can attack it as a reaction. Ooh. Hang on. That's too good. I mean, that's too good. That's the thing. It's like, yeah, it seems fun, but maybe too good, right? World decree. Should that be within 5 feet? Should it? Wait, you're right. If we're gonna allow it to overlap, that's probably too good. Yeah. I mean, 5 already, I'm like, okay, this is beefy. Boy, you are getting a lot of cool shit you can do as a bonus action on your turn. Yeah, I mean, yes, for your level 2 feature, you don't really want to get hit, but I think that Fortify is going to give you enough right there. No, it wouldn't be that you want to get hit. That's the ally can use the attack as a bonus or as a reaction, right? So I get what you're saying. There's like a bit of a balance via contrasting playstyle. No, it would have been too good because the HP can come back if you don't take damage. Yeah, nah, it was cool, but okay. Cool. So you guys have seen I take notes on like theme and stuff, so this is all stuff that we can get out of the class. And maybe have it so that you can learn command. This is going to be a non-caster. So spells are off the table. Okay, so we can do this. Cut. Wait. I'm gonna do this, cut this, kind of move this up, and then I am most likely gonna get food and then be thinking about bed because holy crap, I have 2 concerts to prep for, and whew, we are coming up scary close on those dates. Nothing says that the temporary hit points go away on their own. That's intentional. The rules for temporary hit points are already defined. Unless you have a specific overrider, they go away. Yeah, they default on rest. Akita, you got my back. By the way, once again, maybe you missed the answer. The out of combat is a no for us. The help is enough. Oh, you mean putting an out of combat thing in authority? I mean, they're already getting so many other things that they can do outside of combat that are already really helpful. Like, if you're just helping out your buddies, like taking the help action to do that, like that keep doing the thing, you know. Health is already pretty damn good outside of combat. Okay. I'm trying to think if they need a 3. I don't know. I'll see what Ross thinks about the scaffolding on the subclasses. I think like maybe if it got one in here. Well, like, man, lead by example is good, but yeah. Had some ideas to better at. Oh, yeah, in terms of what this wants to do at like outside of combat, diplomacy is going to make you a really good face. Uh, the inspiring ruler thing in combat, awesome. Lead by example outside of combat and inside combat. There could be like, I want to leave some territory open, leave a little bit of space for some stuff to breathe. And because nothing's really immediately coming to mind here for like fifth. Oh, I guess I need to copy over the. Wow, while I am doing this, there's a few things I need to make sure I copy over. Oh, just grab it from whatever. Okay. Boop. Ooh. Okay. Yep. That was. I just got hit by a wave of like, woo, super tired. Okay. So, I'm going to, I think, close it out on that one. Boy, I am exhausted now. All right. So, I think with that one, you guys can check out the Runekeeper doc over here, pinned in the comment section. Yeah. Yes. So, let me know what you all think down in the comment section below. Thank you to all my Patreon sponsors. Thank you all so much for helping me keep the lights on around here and coffee in my blood. You all are absolute heroes. Probably should have had coffee for the stream, huh? I am just, wow. Failing on a few fronts. Anyways, cool. We got text in here. I'm very happy with where it's going. We'll see where the class goes after this. Runekeeper doc, did I say that? Did I say Runekeeper doc? It is fucking bedtime, huh? The design doc for this is in the description, or it's pinned to chat. God damn it. Yep, it's time for me to go to bed. All right. Thanks for the net material. There you go. Anyways, yeah, I hope you all have a great night. I'll see you all in the next one. Another Sovereign stream coming up soon, I promise. Go check out the design doc. Thank you to all the mechanical consultants as well for giving your input throughout this whole thing. It's been very fun. So, oh, and a shout out to Awesome Soul for moderating tonight. Thank you. So, anyways, guys, hope you all have a great night. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you all in the next one, all right? Later.